This is a late night message. I want you to start taking comfort in the fact that every single one of us have the exact same amount of work to do, emotionally speaking. There is no bypassing. So the majority of humans aren't going to want to do that work because who can blame them? It's not fun having to look in the mirror. It's not fun having to go back into your past and heal your traumas. No one wants to do that work. But the thing is, if they avoid doing that emotional work, they're just going to postpone the inevitable. So if you're someone who struggles a lot, like I'm 39, my life has not been a walk in the park at all. I even jokingly say to my friends sometimes, I feel like I still haven't had a fair chance at life. That's real talk. But the thing is, I'm peaceful inside because when you've been hit with a baseball bat over and over and over again in your life, you don't really have a fight in you anymore. You become peaceful because you're just like, it is what it is. So what I want to say to you tonight is if you are seemingly struggling more than other people, it's only because your soul contracted to bang out those lessons ASAP so that the rest of your life can be amazing. And that's exactly what's going to happen to you. Your life is only going to get better if you're not afraid to put in the work, if you don't shy away from these deeper issues. Now, again, a lot of people are going to avoid doing that work, thinking they can get away with it, thinking that they're in the clear, but they're not. It's going to eventually rear its ugly head, and they're going to have to face off with themselves, with those lessons. A lot of people get sick because they keep avoiding the lessons, and they don't realize their disease because they go to get a checkup, and the doctor's like, it's looking good. But the truth is, it's not looking good because everything starts as energy and eventually deposits into your physical body as a disease. If you keep denying yourself, if you keep disowning yourself, that energy is going to condense and is going to turn into a physical disease in your body. Now, if you've had a physical disease in your body, it doesn't mean that you deserved it or that it was karma, right? It doesn't mean that. Sometimes it's circumstantial, but all I'm saying is that sometimes people do avoid that work at all costs and eventually it catches up with them as a disease. And that's when they're finally brought to their knees and they have to surrender to the universe, to God, to source. So that's when they start taking their life more seriously. And even still, there are so many levels to this game that you're better off getting to those levels now. So why is empathy so darn important? I'll tell you. Because if you tell me that you broke your foot, or if you tell me that something really painful happened to you, I'm going to feel that pain as if it's happening to me. So empathy is a superpower. Why? Why is it a superpower? Because if I'm able to empathize with what you've gone through and I actually feel the pain as you're sharing the story, the chances are I'm not going to have to experience breaking my foot because I've already experienced it emotionally. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so if you listen to someone's story and they're going through a breakup and you're like, you're actually taking on that pain for them. Yeah, even though they've gone through the pain, but you're taking on the pain for the rest of the world, and then you won't have to go through that yourself. Most of the time, you won't have to go through that yourself because everything is energy. And when you're willing to feel what other people go through, then the universe isn't going to have to make you go through that physically. That's the power of empathy. Okay? And I just want to say one more thing. You will have to feel everyone on this planet. That's why I tell you guys, don't be afraid to feel it all. Because when you feel it all, you are upgrading yourself into a higher frequency where you're no longer bothered. It's like, okay, cool, next. You've already taken in so much pain that you've become one with everything there is, with everyone in this universe. And if we don't empathize, then of course the universe is going to put us through a series of hardships or upheavals in our lives so that we can grow in our empathy. I hope this is making sense. So whatever you're going through, I want to thank you because your pain is my pain and my pain is your pain. It's just that we're taking turns. And you want me to go even deeper? Okay, fine. So none of it is real. None of it is real. This is a virtual reality game. And before you came into this world, you knew that. You knew that. You were like, okay, sign me up. I'll take this family. I'll go through this. I'll go through that. I'll go through this. I'll go through that. Okay? And if I allow myself to go through the pain with intention, it's all about your intention in life. When you're suffering, if your intention is to transform for the better and to upgrade your life, that's precisely what's going to happen. Your intention is like having your eyes on God. It's like, okay, God, put me through whatever I need to go through, and then you've passed the test. You've allowed yourself to feel everything that came up for you, which isn't you, by the way. It's just the conditioning of this world. Yeah, it's the collective ego. It's the ego of this world. So when we're born into this world, our memory is wiped. We forget who we are, where we came from. So the game feels real. But everything you see is an illusion, and you're going to have to go through so much to eventually realize I am none of it. Now I don't even feel the pain. Think of all the things you've gone through in your life that were painful. And now when they happen, you're like, oh, I don't feel that anymore. That's because you've graduated from that lesson. Okay, there was a belief in you or a fear in you. And by intentionally allowing yourself to feel it all, that fear or that belief was plucked out of your system. That belief or that fear was never you. So everything we go through is to show us, it's all an illusion. There's no sense in trying to dodge a bullet because the bullets aren't real. It's all an illusion. So the more you're willing to feel, the better you get at it. It's like communication. The more you practice communicating in a healthy way, the better you get at it. So the more you're willing to feel what's coming up for you, the less you'll eventually feel because you've already integrated everything you had to feel. So that's the great cosmic joke, if you will. So I hope this helps you. Don't be afraid to be initiated into higher levels of consciousness. The only way through is to be in the suffering, to allow it to transform you, and then you realize, was I really suffering? Or was my mind fighting a transformation? My ego, my mind was fighting a transformation. And there was all this fear in me, and it wanted to hold on to it, and the universe had a different plan, and it made me go through this tsunami of emotions, and eventually it all dissipated. And I see it for what it is now. Think of all the times when someone triggered you, and you eventually stopped getting reactive, and you started feeling it, and really pausing and breathing and feeling and processing. And then the next time it happened, you didn't feel anything. You didn't believe it anymore. That's because it's all a fiction. Everything around you is like a dream. And the idea is to wake up within this dream that we call life. To realize that in this virtual reality game, the people shooting at you, right, that whatever that activates in you isn't true. It's just a game. So don't be afraid to feel what you're feeling because you are not what you're feeling. There's no need to be threatened by these different emotions that surface or by these different thoughts that crowd into your awareness. Don't even pay attention to the thoughts, and if you feel like you have to because it's out of your control, then just go through it. Be transformed, be consumed by it, and then you'll see that you turn into the butterfly from the caterpillar. But everyone has an equal amount of work to do. So do it sooner rather than later. You don't want to be 55 being like, oh my God, this is so hard. Get it done now. Clear your plate now. So that by the age of 40, you're flying high. Feel it all. Okay? See every trigger as an invitation to deepen yourself, to wake up in this dream called life. Welcome every trigger. Welcome everyone pushing your buttons. Welcome all of it. I love you, my friends.